is a fact, inclusion is an act. And I would like to invite Ms. Sonica Aron, CEO Marching Sheep, to please come on the dais. Ms. Sonica Aron, an XLRI postgraduate, founder Marching Sheep in 2013 to make a difference in people's life and drive respect and equality. Marching Sheep is a leading HR consulting firm specializing in diversity and inclusion, employee well-being, learning interventions, and policy streamlining, recognized for its impactful work and thought leadership in progressive HR practices.
Good afternoon. I don't know why Sumit does this to me every time. So it is entirely my responsibility to excite you a little bit. Should I do that? Okay. So we are going to start with a few questions. Are you all ready? Okay. We'll come to this later. The first question. What do we celebrate in April from the DEIB construct? Yes. Lovely. Cultural diversity, beautiful. Can we have a round of applause for the lady? However, there is one focus area for the entire month of April. From diversity perspective? No Googling, please. From DEIB perspective? Pride month is in June, ma'am. So this is the month wherein we work on autism awareness. All right? So autism or ASD is one of the neurodivergent or the hidden disabilities which are covered under the 21 disabilities under the RPWD Act. All right? When is Transgender Day of Remembrance? LGBTQ inclusion is catching up. A lot of people in our organization might be in the closet, given the large number of representation in the country. So, what do you think is the Transgender Day of Remembrance?
31st of March.
31st of March? Saikiran, that is Transgender Day of Visibility. But good answer. Can we have a round of applause? So there are 2 days, Transgender Day of Visibility and Transgender Day of Remembrance. And I'll just tell you the difference between the two. Transgender Day of Remembrance is on 20th of November. Transgender Day of Remembrance is an observation or observance day for all the transgender people who have been murdered because of transphobia. And Transgender Day of Visibility is a day which is observed to drive awareness and also recognize people from the community who have achieved great success. Nice? Good to know? What was the UN theme for IWD this year? Come on. Inspire inclusion? Was that the UN theme or was that the IWD theme? Yes, ma'am? Can somebody give her the mic, please? For peace. Invest in women and girls for peace. So every year there are two themes. There is an IWD theme like choose to challenge, break the bias, etc. And then there is a UN theme which cuts across all the SGDs, which is more actionable, right? What are the blood-related disabilities covered under the RPWD Act? And very easy to hire. You don't have to make any reasonable accommodations, any infrastructure change. Anyone? Don't Google, please. Sir, आप तो आगे ही बैठे हो, Google मत करो. So, hemophilia, thalassemia and sickle cell. These people once in 2 weeks might need blood transfusion, but otherwise completely on the job. Is mental illness covered by insurance?
No.
Pakka promise? No. Since when?
Since 2 years, less than 2 years.
Less than 2 years. October 2022, the IRDA mandated that insurance providers need to cover mental health. But if we are not aware, then how are we going to ask our insurance providers to extend that service to our employees? Of course, as of now, there are, I think, 6 companies that are providing it, and there's a huge amount of fine print. But larger the organization, more is the muscle power to get it out of them. So use it. And the last one, which disability is an outcome of crime? Acid attack. What a shame. And South Asia is the capital for acid attacks. India, Pakistan, Bangladesh. All right, so do I have your attention?
Yes.
All are awake?
Yes.
Okay. So now a little bit of introduction about myself. Some of you know me here, but many of you might not. So my name is Sonica. I am the CEO and founder of Marching Sheep. I founded it in the year 2013, and in the last 11 years, from one city, one client, one woman army, today we are delivering to more than 300 clients across more than 80 countries. We have been recognized across various platforms. Our most recent award was by the American Embassy on this 8th of March, where we were conferred with the Gender Impact Award for making on-ground difference to different communities. Be it women, because we do a lot of work with acid attack survivors, we do a lot of work with transgenders, we do a lot of work with people with disabilities. So, so that is who we are. We have 83% of our clients who are repeat clients or continued clients over the last few years. And so that's that. That's about us. And we completely love what we do. And that is why I'm going to have a lot of fun on stage. So please enjoy with me. Okay. So we are now going to start with a video clip. Can I have help with the video clip, please?
So this life has given everyone a present, beautiful, shiny and new. Everyone but you. Golden ribbons, diamonds line everyone's path that leads to wide open doors. Everyone's but yours. Wide open doors. Hold on, keep on, even when the road seems very long. Open your eyes, even if it's cold now. There's one thing you should know. Rain will turn into snow.
Okay. How did this make you feel? More accepting. Lovely, if the intent is there. But what if the intent is not there? You know, let's look at this room around us. You know, we are all HR professionals. Yes? But there is diversity here. Different gender, different ages, different industries, different work experience, different life stages. We are not identical. And yet, when we are sitting here, somebody is speaking here, we are all listening. We are all willing to listen to somebody else's perspective, somebody else's experience, and learn from that experience. Yes? Because that is a choice we have made, that today we are going to come in this conference. We are going to listen to people who will come with diverse experiences, diverse best practices that they would have applied in their companies. They would have received some results, and we are going to take away something that might work for us. So what I want to establish is that diversity is a fact. Even for organizations that say that, listen, we have not even embarked on our DEIB journey. If they were to look at their employees within the organization, their employees are not all the same. There would be, the lady over there spoke about so many festivals which will get celebrated in the month of April. There would be cultural diversity, there would be age, multi-generational diversity, there would be language diversity, there would be cognitive diversity, there would be people who come with different educational background, the way of upbringing, and so on and so forth. Right? But do I respect and value all those differences? In the previous panel discussion, Judy spoke something very interesting. She said today talent wants that within the first few years, within the first year, they want to be heard. They want their inputs to be recognized, their contributions to be recognized. And this is something which is possibly something new that some of us as leaders are experiencing. And this might be leading to quote unquote conflict, because हम तो ऐसे नहीं थे, हमने तो ऐसे नहीं सीखा, हमने तो अपने सीनियर की बात सुनी थी, we dirtied our hands, we followed instructions. Why is this young person so eager to move fast? And therefore, inclusion is a choice. When people come from smaller locations or tier 3, tier 1, tier 2 towns to corporate office, Shweta was speaking about it. Right? They come to corporate office and they might not have very fluent English, or they might not be dressed in the manner that we are used to. Are we completely accepting of them? Do we give them a chance? They might have a seat at the table, but do they have a voice on the table? So while diversity is a fact, inclusion is a choice that we make every day, and that is why I said, do we have the intent? We all think we are very inclusive, but do we put it in action? And that is where equity comes in. Equity is action. When I ask my team member, irrespective of their age, irrespective of their years of experience, irrespective of which college they have studied from, I ask them to contribute, and I applaud their contribution. That is equity. When I create equal opportunities for everyone to succeed, that is equity. And when diversity, equity, and inclusion happens, I, as a person, feel a sense of belonging. I don't recall, but there was somebody who spoke about belonging in one of the earlier panels or sessions. You know, there was an HBR article which spoke about belonging is good for business, and there was data. It said that if there is a sense of belonging, then 56% increase in profitability, 50% increase, 50% decrease in attrition, and 75% decrease in sick leave. And for an organization with 10,000 employees, it can translate into annual savings of approximately 430 crores. Huge. Right? But what we forget is that diversity is not just gender. It's not just women. Even if we are working with women, even if we are focusing on increasing the women participation, let's understand that every woman, there is an intersectionality of life stage. There is an intersectionality of culture. There is an intersectionality of education. There is an intersectionality of mindset. So we cannot put all women in one box and say, I want to increase my women participation from X to Y, so I will just treat them all the same so that I can increase it. In the previous panel discussion, we were talking about focusing on hiring, right? How to get rid of biases in hiring. But what do we do after they are hired? What do we do when we have roles which are earmarked for women and a male colleague comes and says, "Arey, you are a diversity candidate." Even if there was a man who was just as capable or even more capable than you, even then you would have got the role because this role is for women. What do you think it does to the morale of women? So our DEI initiatives don't end with hiring. It actually starts, because once we have hired them, then we need to understand what is the intersectionality of the crowd that we have hired. Are they meeting with microaggressions in every team meeting, in every promotion cycle, in every increment cycle, every time they are asking for leave, every time they are leaving for home in the evening? And why assume that these are the roles which are good for them? Have we ever asked them, do you want to be on site? Do you want to be in a factory? I started my career 20 years back in an FMCG company. I was in a factory, I did sales, I went selling Pepsi 5 rupiah in Karimnagar. I went and stood on the shop floor for 24 hours at a stretch in peak season. क्योंकि माल निकालना था, ट्रक लगे हुए थे, ठीक है, यूपी प्यासा था, उनको पेप्सी नहीं मिलती तो हम लोग मर जाते, उनका तो कुछ नहीं होता, उनको कोक मिल जाती, लेकिन हम मर जाते, right? So, is the choice being given or being taken away? So, after working with so many organizations, speaking to so many people, we've come up with something which helps us diagnose where is it that the organization is in their DE&I maturity matrix. And across the employees, because we need to understand that our employees come from the society. Your sales employees, your manufacturing employees, your employees who might be in Malda might not be as open as your employees in Bangalore or Calcutta. So what is their appetite? When you map, you come up with what you need to do. One size does not fit all. You cannot make a bot say कि अब ये कर दो सबके लिए, सारे घर के बदल डालूंगा बजाज बल्ब, and you will get the results. All right? Okay? So this is the marching sheep framework that we work on. For any assignment, whether it is DEI or it is capability building, the first thing that we look at, and I think Judy again said that, what are the KPIs? Right? I don't believe in the word ROI. Because there is nothing in HR which you do today and you will see an ROI tomorrow. Has anybody ever asked कि आज तुमने एक ad निकाला जिसमें आमिर खान ऐसे बाल करके क्या चार्ज बेच रहा है, उसकी ROI क्या है? कब पता चलेगी उसकी ROI? When will you get to know that ad's ROI? When the sales report comes, right? Or the market share report comes. So those are the KPIs you will track. Are you connecting with this example? Similarly, when we do a DEI intervention or we do a capability building intervention, what are the KPIs that you want to impact for the organization? So when a client asks me, आपके program का ROI क्या है? I ask them, आप metrics क्या track कर रहे हो? Half the times organizations are not even tracking the right metrics. So first helping them get there to help them start, because that governance model that Judy spoke about, how will you have pre and post if we are not tracking the right metrics? So let's say for DEI, you want in the succession plan that Arshia spoke about, What is the percentage of women who are a part of your succession pool? Just a percentage. In your year-on-year promotion data, what is the percentage of women who get promoted? And I'm not saying take away from merit. Not for a moment am I saying take away from merit. All I'm saying is there a bias at play where equal opportunities are not being extended? All right? So once we decide on the metrics that matter, then we work on the enabling framework. The enabling framework can be from policies and processes. We believe that everyone in the organization owns DEIB and development. It is not just the top management. An employee experiences an organization through the manager. When I go to work or an employee logs in, how I feel depends on my interaction with my peers and my manager. I don't go running to my head of HR or my CXO every day. Are my managers equipped to build psychological safety, inclusion, allyship in the team? Do they even understand these words? Do they understand the behaviors which will drive these words? Right? And then we continue to monitor the metrics that we have identified. Okay? Naveen is looking at me, so I'm going to move a little faster. I'll quickly take you to a case study. So in FMCG industry, an MNC, the entire APAC region is what we were looking at, more than 20,000 employees across. The problem statement was a leaky bucket. So hiring ho rahi thi, dhadalle se, recruitment team in overdrive. They also had that, that sifting wala, that bot that used to read resumes. All of that in place. Okay? Articulated commitment to DEI. On the website, we are equal opportunity employer. All of that, CEO also, chairman also, everything. But non-functional ERGs. Because ERGs are volunteers, no? They have to volunteer their time for the passion that they feel. But they have to take time from their day-to-day job and be a part of ERG. Varna unko kuch milta thodi hai. Is it a part of their KRAs? Being in the ERG, do they get any increment because of that? Do they get any bonus because of that? So it is like a free ka kaam. Right? So the goal statement was strengthen the I&D strategy of the organization for India, and then we later added APAC. Reduce female attrition, increase the women workforce, and also prepare for PWD and LGBTQ workforce. Okay? So we started with baselining. We understood. So we have our own proprietary tool which we run across the organization to understand where the organization is. So the organizational maturity was tactical, the employee sensitization was early exposure. In terms of commitment to culture and strategic focus, and I will tell you a very telltale sign. When in meetings, when we are deciding on what is the needle that you will move, your CXO comes and sits and participates in the ideation, in the implementation plan, in the strategy. You have alignment of words and action. But when HR says our CXO will not come, आप हमको एक पेज का बना के दे दो strategy, हम उनसे align करवा के हम ही को करना है. Then mismatch of words and actions. I think it was Akshay who spoke in the morning that is DEIB an HR responsibility or is it a business imperative? If your CXO refuses to come in the room, then don't become a scapegoat. This is what we did. We identified the metrics that mattered after intense diagnostics. What is it that we will impact? Not just recruitment. Recruitment ho jayegi, number ho jayega. What are the leading indicators? How do I drive a sense of belonging among the women who we are hiring? How do I create a sense of trust in the potential LGBTQ and PWD talent pool? That was a leading indicator. Then we looked at managerial capability. We looked at policies and processes. Policies and processes from an inclusive lens. It is something which takes a lot of effort. Every organization will have at least 20, 30 policies which every employee experiences. Leave, medical, travel, relocation. All of these impact an employee's life. Today in every house, there are 2 cars, right? Have we as an organization made a change in our relocation policy where we are supporting relocation of 2 cars from 1 car? In a lot of states, they insist on changing of the number. Are we supporting that? So there are a lot of things that we need to look into. All right? Team inclusion, psychological safety, allyship. Let me talk about allyship. In the morning, many of you heard Akshaya, a male standing here and talking about inclusion of women. A woman talking about inclusion of women तो रोज होता है. बोलेगी, नहीं बोलेगी तो क्या करेगी? But when a man says it, what was the difference? Did you all feel the difference? How can we make male managers in our companies allies? Spokespersons, sponsors, and individual buy-in. What can I do in my circle of influence? Because inclusion starts with I. ये नहीं कि मैं HR से पूछूंगी, HR से पूछूंगा, what will happen? All those in the video, they took their decision to buy those things themselves. Yes, 1 minute. Those things, मैंने मना किया था घंटी बजाने को. Right? They bought those things themselves. They did not go to teacher and say, what do we do? So every individual needs to feel a sense of ownership for inclusion. Because which day I will be on the other side and get excluded, I don't know. I think I've spoken about all of these things, so I will not spend too much of time. Open for Q&A if he allows for time. Yes, sir.
Family also, we have diverse people.
Absolutely.
Because my brother, my sister, my father and my mother we are not all equal. So there might be different sexual orientations also inside the family. There also will be age differences. So there's complete diversity inside the family which we are accepting. So if we identify that along with the organization and have a similar wavelength, then it helps us in accepting inclusion in a much better way. That's
a brilliant point. Thank you for sharing that. Brilliant. So what he's essentially saying is a sense of belonging that one feels at home and therefore accepts the family members with all their differences. Can we bring that sense of belonging and acceptance even in organizations? Brilliant. All right then, no questions? I was super clear. All right then, thank you so much. Back to you.
Yeah. I would request you to please stay on the dais, and I would request Ms. Arshia Singh, Director HR.